Hey y'all, it's the Evolutionary Change Coach with part 5. So today we are evaluating our hobbies, friends, family, relationships. We're at that part now because they play a part in your family dynamic, like we talked about in episode 3, where how your how your parents or how you seen people socialize, or how you seen relationships form, and um what you saw is in how they roll, how the roles are in relationships, far as relationship wise. So yeah, so all of those things tie in together. Once you have figured out your reason, like, why you want to change, and what your goals are, what you're looking for out of the, just what you're looking for in general, because it doesn't just have to be specifically out of these, out of this series for in general, but what is your overall reason? Because you're going to have to go back to that. You're going to always have to remember why you want to change. Why are you doing, why are you going on this journey, and why you want to heal yourself? Why do you want to, actually put these things into play? Why do you want to make these adjustments? Because it's going to be hard. It's going to be different things. It's going to be uncomfortable, because it's going to be certain situations that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, or that you're going to wind up being uncomfortable being in certain around certain people, or around certain groups of people, even after you have started making the decisions or making the actual adjustments. Slowly but surely, you're gonna over time, you're gonna wind up either sometimes not even liking, any of the things that you used to like, because you're gonna start realizing that none of those things were even for you to begin with, or these particular people weren't really for you to begin with, or maybe you didn't really actually fit out with with this particular friend group, or even in your family a lot of times, because we are taught, especially in our community, we are taught family is, thicker than blood is thicker than water, and family is everything, and all of that. And a lot of times, and that's not to say that family isn't everything, because in hindsight, it should be. When in all reality, it should be, right? Family should want to see you do better, do good, and prosper in life, and have awesome relationships, friendships, jobs, careers. They should want that for you. But there are people that don't. We have seen literally, and and just in life in general, that family will actually do you worse than the streets, than strangers and people that you don't know. A lot of times they will put you in harmful situations way before you even meet people that don't like you, or you know um, bad friends and things like that. So, but this is the point where you start making certain decisions for yourself, where, like I said, if you watch the episode 4 of now you did the background, right? Now you started your background, you started actually assessing, or even maybe asking family members that you trust, or that you are safe with, or that you feel safe talking to, about your family dynamic. And when I say family dynamic, that goes back, like, from great grandmom and grandmoms, and all the way down the line. because sometimes not all families even know all of the family history. So sometimes you got to go to the the real matriarchs if you have any, because a lot of that is slim to none. But you got to find the person or people that were around them that gained knowledge. But even with that, take you gotta really take what makes more sense sometimes, or what you actually see over time, what you actually see over time, because that's what's going to steer you right. Because they're going to have even you're going to even have family members that does know about that time frame, or that family history and how the dynamic goes, but they aren't going to either speak about it in a positive terms, or even if it's not positive, they're still not really going to speak on it like in full, or in truth, or they're not even going to speak their part of the truth, if that makes any sense. um so with that being said, now after after you went through your childhood background, assess your family dynamic, now you can now you can kind of see where you fall at, if that makes sense. What traits you have. What now, episode 4, which is the last episode, is learning patterns and behaviors that was either passed down to you, or due to traumatic experiences, or scenarios. That can be you why you operate your life, why you operate in your life the way that you operate in your life now, and how we can go about changing them. Because if you watch the episode, like I said, take your time. You can always download every episode that I post. You don't have to, watch them right away. You can always, whenever you get to them, you get to them. But in that episode, you are to write down a list. Make a list of the patterns and behaviors that you come about, or that come out, or that you could think about, that comes to your mind that you actually do. This can be overthinking, overanalyzing, people pleasing, having a hard time saying no, um, impulsive decisions or actions, things like that, fighting, addictions, abuse, all those things are labeled, or are put in a pattern, or that you have in a pattern, like, or how you deal with those things, how you cope with those things, are all is usually a pattern. Some people are all over the place, right? And then you have some people that are predictable, meaning they don't really do too much out of the ordinary, but they stay on a course, if that makes sense, or they stay true to who they are. They may stray away from certain things, but they always come back to it, or they always have a pattern, and that's usually not even wrong. That's not a bad thing either, because that just means that kind of you were able to actually assess yourself, right? You're able to take accountability for certain things, and you're able to actually detach from them, and actually move on from things in a healthier way than most people are. Or I'm not saying that, then in a better way that actually benefits you. I'll say that actually benefits you in your life, in your situation. Now, we actually have a good little stack of cards today that I feel like goes hand in hand with evaluating your friendships and family members and your hobbies, because these are also a part of your addictions. This actually contributes to how you make friends, how pick or choose who you date or how you date and the people you date, things like that. How you are in a relationship, how you aren't in a relationship, your love language, your all of those things. So I don't think I'm gonna start with grief right off the top.
Come on, I cannot lose to Orba and Jackson, man. This would be so embarrassing. Come on, where am I supposed to win? Wait, come on, come on. Yes, let's go. Oh my goodness, I'm rushing on Orba. I cannot lose. Come on, gotta catch up.
I think we can start with these orange cards first. I think orange is good. Yeah, because this is gonna tell you these are gonna help you in evaluating your friendship and your friend circle, because that's actually going to be the task that's going to be at the end of this, to actually make a list of your friend circle, the friends that you are actually, on a day-to-day type. Make a pros and cons list of them. And then your family, you're gonna, label them, if that makes any sense. And then you're gonna do the same, pros and cons. Obviously, it's a no-brainer though. It's a no-brainer, but it's easier said than done, depending on who the people are, if that makes sense. Because it's not as easy as it seems or sounds to cut off or distance yourself from your mother or your father, because those are like the most important people, right? And actually, when you start to realize that a lot of that is just a title, and when you grow up, like when you grow up and actually start seeing reality, and seeing them past the title, it actually makes you either view them differently or actually makes it a little bit more easier to do, if that makes sense. Like, if this person is really only, and even in a sense, right, where if you're a parent, right, and you're dealing with hella toxic children or a child, right, it's hard for you to cut that child off. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. That's going to be hard. But at some point, it has to be done for you to heal, for you to move on, for you to evolve. It's not for forgiveness is not actually for the other person. It's for you. It's for you, so you can heal, so you can move on past the scenario or the situation, and to help you actually heal from the abuse, from the trauma of what you dealt with or what you've experienced due to that person. So, dating, right? There is nothing wrong with having boundaries and standards, even if you are in a relationship. Communicate your likes, wants, needs, feelings, and any issues you have within yourself and the relationship. If they don't take accountability and listen and attempt to fix the issues or support your thoughts and feelings, you will have to give it time, because changes are hard to make, and you will need to have patience. Patience long is needed for long time changes. Oh no. Patience is needed long term for any changes. This is with yourself as well as the people that you are considering that you need to distance yourself from or actually cut off. Now, this is not saying that you can't have a conversation with them after you have assessed certain parts of yourself, or after you have actually made a list of these things or made notes of these things. Like, majority of the time, right, when we get to this point, I can actually attest to this because this is something, like I said, I'm speaking off of pure experience, right? Majority of the time when you get to the point where you actually start evaluating situations and you're actually looking to really change, you majority of the time already know who those people are that you need to just distance from, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're probably already distanced from people anyway, or from those specific people anyway, because you already picked up on certain things that you either didn't like or you addressed already. So at this point, this actually gives you the okay to for you to be okay with letting it go. It's not really for the other person. It's for you. It's being okay for you to let go of that person or the situation. This can even be a job. But right now we're talking about dating. So I'm still gonna say person because that's still a person, right? That's still a person. Dating. Be cautious when dating and pursuing potential or future options. Keep your spirits up in your energy. Don't get upset if a potential doesn't respond or even ghosts you. That is your sign that it's not meant for you. It is okay to keep options open and not put all eggs in one basket. Dating doesn't have to be about another person. This is just for you to date yourself and the time to pour into yourself. You can't pour into no one else's cup if you have an empty cup. You cannot do that. It does not matter how much people say. Yes, relationships are yes, people say relationships are 50-50, and yes, there are going to be times when there's the 100 to 20 or 80-20, or sometimes you can be at an 80 and it can be at a 0. that that's normal. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking more about the fact that if it's a continuous situation, if they're continuously not on somewhat of a, if they're at a continuously low standard, or they're doing the bare minimum or lack thereof, that's a different scenario. That is already showing you that they don't actually value you, they don't value your opinion or the changes you're trying to make, or the changes that you want them to make. Like I said, granted, patience is needed, but just like I said, you already know, most times we already know these people, right? Or you already been with them for a significant amount of time, or you know them for a significant amount of time already. So you already know how they roll or how they are. You probably already addressed the issues or problems that you have with them already. So it's not to say that they won't change, but you already either get the gist, if that makes sense. Coping mechanisms. Establishing boundaries, establishing positive relationships. This is considered as friendships, co-workers, romantically, partners, and sponsors. Healthy ways to maintain and keep your peace. Stay calm. How to stay on your path. These are people that you're going to be looking for. However, sometimes our coping mechanisms is can really be a unhealthy way to cope with things. So this is going to help us, identify those behaviors to turn them into a healthy way to maintain and a healthy way to cope with situations or experiences. Yeah. Meditation, drawing, writing, reading, listening to music, finding other outlets such as yoga classes, wine tasting, dancing, anything that will help you release effectively in a healthy way. They have so many positive ways to help you cope in a healthy way where you don't have to do it alone. You don't, you know, especially if you are somebody that is in recovery from addictions and things like that. It's very hard to not backtrack or relapse on anything. Is 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 what you need to find a healthy way to cope or a healthy way to release than to go back to the things that you were addicted to, which is next, addictions. Drugs and alcohol isn't the only form and types of addictions. There's food, sugar, sex, money, and even addictions to technology. There, you could be addicted to social media, you could be addicted to exercise, you could be addicted to, there's a lot of things that you could be addicted to. Okay? Like for me, I have noticed that I've been addicted to actually, like, I've been addicted to sugar. People don't realize that we are addicted to sugar and caffeine, because if you actually take the time to detox from sugar, it is really like detoxing from an actual drug, because caffeine is considered a drug, if you did not know that, but it is. Now I did, like I said, I did stop drinking coffee for a while, and I went to drinking tea and things like that, because I changed my diet for about I've been on it. I will say that I was consistently on it for 3 years, and then I did backslide a few times, but I still stay away from certain things, or I really try to be mindful of my intake, even if I do backslide on certain things. So, um, let's see. Um, I now I've had now I'm not, now this is the thing, right? I spend money and things like that, but I like helping people. I love helping, and I'm just a nice, genuine person overall. So, um, I'm the type of person that, when I have it to do, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna tip my hairdresser. I'm gonna tip the shampoo girl that shampooed my hair. You know what I'm saying? I'll tip my nails. My nail tech. Anywhere I go out to eat, I'm gonna tip. I'm gonna tip them. Sometimes I be willing to tip my the cashiers. But that's just me. I'm not saying, um, but I actually used to have guilt when I would actually just buy things just for myself because I was so used to giving and giving to others. Like, I have kids, though, so of course I'm gonna, spend on them and all that stuff. So I actually went through the whole I'm spending on them, us, um, anybody that's known me for a long time, though, my kids, I've always spent on my kids, so that's always, uh, that's a no brainer, right? And then I got to the place of I started, really, really starting to heal because I had got out of a really bad relationship um, that I was in for like 3 years. And then I really actually made the decision to change them. Like I actually cut my hair short and everything, like regrew my hair. So all of this, right? So I actually regrew my hair out. I was single for a while. I might have, went out a few times with people and stuff like that, but it wasn't nothing like that. So I actually took the time to love back on me and really, focus back on my kids, things like that, because I will actually sit here and say that I actually, like I said, I love helping people, right? But in the same way, when I'm in a relationship with somebody, so when I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna do the same things that I always do. Just like I give to myself and for my kids, I'm gonna give to the person that I'm with, right? And sometimes, like, I'm really that person. Like, I'll give you my last, right? But I had to learn that I can't do that all the time because as nice as and as genuine as I am, that wound up putting me in a spot where I'm the one looking crazy or looking like I ain't got this or that when I'm giving and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm not even looking for nothing in return. So I had to learn that it's okay to give and help, but I can't do it at the expense of me and myself and my goals and my children. We are a package deal and we matter and we are supposed to have what we need. I can't give to people if that's going to hinder me. I can't keep doing that, right? Because where does that leave me and my kids, right? That still leaves us, that actually puts me back at square one. However, I don't look at it as a negative. I just look at it as the time that I needed to reflect. I needed to, go back to the drawing board. I need to figure out why I made those choices. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? You know what I'm saying? Those were lessons I needed to learn. Those were things that I needed to heal from that I didn't heal from. That I either realized that I really actually didn't heal from fully, or that I did, but I allowed more, or I allowed different scenarios again to end up in the same place. That's a problem, right? But for me, anyway, that's a problem. I don't want to keep having the same outcomes. And it did even become a time where I'm like, well, maybe I'm just supposed to be by myself with my kids because to be truthfully honest with you, that's when I'm the best. That's when I feel the best. That's when I'm more focused on myself and my goals, my kids, and I'm more, I'm glowing, I'm this, I'm that. I mean, I'm always on, but you know what I'm saying? I'm always on top of my game when I'm not. Now, do I want a person, with me? Of course. Who wouldn't, right? But I'm also not the same. I'm also not a person that is like super clingy. I'm not any of that either. So like I can be in a relationship with somebody and still, tend to them, still cater and still, do what I need to do as a mom and still do what I need to do for me and still let them do what they need to do for themselves. Right? Cause yes, I do believe in relationships, you are supposed to be each other's. I love on you, you know what I'm saying, and I speak love and life into you. It's the same. It should be the same, equal. because because it's not going to always be equal, right? Like I said before, it's going to be times where they could be at 80 or 100 and I can be on a 0 and I need a little extra, right? I'm also not the person that's going to be all woe is me and all that. That's not me either. Only people that I genuinely feel like I trust or my kids will really see that side of me. I Right now, I still live at home right now. I'm still in the process of actually moving. But that's besides the point, right? I live in a house of people that still never even see me do that. They don't know what it looks like for me to be depressed or for me to be at my lowest. All they know is I'm either not working at the time, and even for me, sometimes that's actually not a bad thing because that just means that for me that just lets me know that my focus needs to be on my kids, right? My kids need more something, right? So that's where I'll pour into. And I listen to my intuition as well. So when my intuition tells me to leave a job, I'm gonna fucking leave it. Whether I ain't got no backup plan or not. And that's also because I'm very talented. Okay, I have I have things that I do that I'm actually working on business wise, right? I don't look at that as a setback either, because when you are trying to build a business or when you building a business, anything, I've learned and I've noticed and I've done the research and everything where you have to take step back. So you're gonna have to take a step back sometimes. You're gonna have to realize why this isn't working or why this didn't work or what do you need to do from here? What can you change here? And that is what I focus on as well. And when I feel compelled to actually start bringing those things back into fruition for myself, I do it. I do it, and that also creates the space for me to fully heal myself, to actually do the work on myself. I literally take the time out, whether I'm in a relationship, whether I'm not in a relationship. I take the time out because you have to do that. It is really important when you leave a relationship, whether it was healthy or toxic, whatever, you need the time to actually heal yourself from that relationship before you move on to another one. Because if you don't, you're just going to continue a pattern. You're just going to continue the same cycle over and over and over and over and projecting onto the next person and projecting onto that person. You don't want to do that because you can potentially miss out on really really good people or on a really really great relationship that really could have actually really bloomed. So it really does, it's really really important. Like um that's not something that I talk about like out in the open too much, but yes, I am what you would consider as a spiritualist. So somewhere along the line I did get addicted to watching tarot videos. um I did. So I'm working on that. Okay. um and it's not that I don't believe in it, because I do. However, I do know that doing too much of something can still cloud your judgment. It can cloud your own thoughts, your own energy, your own mood, all that, right? I've gotten addicted to binge eating, like snacking and all that. That's a thing too. That's a thing too. And you know what? It's not. a bad thing to be alone in solitude, because when you are healing and growing and evolving, you actually need to be in solitude. Sometimes that is the reason why you are being put in solitude, in solitude to assess your life. But that can be a pattern as well. You can be addicted to being independent. You can be addicted to like I said, to money. You can be addicted to shopping. You can be addicted to traveling. You can be addicted to so many things. You could be addicted to animals. Like, you could be addicted to cooking, like, so much. You can be addicted to so many things, and it only takes maybe like a split second for that to happen sometimes. Like, you could just get into something and it's just an interest of yours, and then next thing you know, you're constantly watching, or you're constantly scrolling, you're constantly doing this, you're constantly doing that. Like, detoxing and letting go of any addiction is hard. Not everybody gets addicted to things willingly. Sometimes it comes from trusting the wrong people. Having addictions can even be a generational thing and not something you were even aware of. We can pick up behaviors and mannerisms because of it being genetic. That's another thing that goes into your childhood, right? Now, that can also mean that, like, you could be somebody that watched your parents or your family, what I'm saying, have drug addictions and stuff, and you see what it does. So you don't want to be like that, right? And granted, you are gonna make the decision and the choices and the moves to not be that way, but you can still be easily addicted to anything else because, right? Um, and you could even think that because you grew up like that and you've seen, your parents and your family members do it, and then you get friends, and then y'all all do the same things, right? That's actually trauma bonding too. So that's the thing, because let's say you actually do start going to rehab and you're trying to better your life and you're trying to do all these things, you cannot go around these people. And if they don't either respect that you actually want to stop doing what you're doing and all that stuff, you definitely don't need to be around them, because all they're going to do is want to bring you back down to their level and where they are. That's going to actually cause you to relapse. Even being around them and you not even really partaking, that's still, they say guilty by association, or all birds flock together, even though I don't necessarily believe that either. But that's neither here nor there, right? That's where evaluating your friend circle and your family go, or actually come in at too. Like, I do smoke weed from time to time, and I do drink. I'm a social drinker from time to time, right? But I'm not addicted to it. Like, I could stop smoking weed whenever I feel like. I could smoke weed and then go on about my life, and I'm gonna be cool. But if I don't have the money for it, I'm not. It's okay for me, you know. Um, I'm not judging nobody for that. That's just where it's at for me. What team would you choose? Jimmy and I like weed. I feel safer with weed. That's the only thing you're ever gonna catch me doing. But okay. And no, just like I said, it enhances your abilities, but that's besides the point, right? Abuse. Abuse comes in so many forms and can actually come from anybody. There are various levels of abuse, and it's extremely hard to break those patterns and behaviors. Oftentimes, our abusers make it so hard to walk away. And honestly, when you are exposed to any level of abuse, and this is emotionally, verbally, physically, sexually, all that, right? It actually brings more abusers to you. It does. Even and unfortunately, we could be so careful, like following, you know what I mean, crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and all that, and we could be the pickiest of the pickiest, and still wind up coming across an abuser of any kind. Whether, like I said, this don't gotta be like, let's say you were verbally abused, right? And mentally abused, manipulated, and all that stuff because you have narcissistic parents or family members, right? That means you were raised on that, right? You are gonna wind up trauma bonding, finding friends that are in the same, that have been in the same scenario, experienced it in some way, shape, or form. Now, this friend group is going to be your safe space at some point, right? However, there's going to be levels of it that you either don't trust, or that you're going to either have problems with, or that y'all are going to bump heads with, because at some point, not everybody, I'm not going to say everybody won't change, because you actually have some that will do the work together, because that's actually the point, right? You would wind up wanting to actually come out of that and not want to repeat those same things over and over into, like, your kids and vice versa, right? Because that's how I look at it, because that's how I am. I don't want none of that going on, right? I want to break the generational curses. I want to break all of that, right? I don't want to continue that. So now let's say you have one or two people that wants to actively break those chains. It's hard as fuck. It's hard to break those chains. I promise you, it is hard, especially if you are in a situation where you still have to live under them, live with them, all that type of stuff. It is hard, especially if you're a teenager and you're going through that, because you're really not grown. You know what I'm saying? You can't leave. You can't. It's a lot. And that's where a lot of the rebellion starts, or you being labeled as a rebellious teen or problem child, and all of that. That's where a lot of that starts. And then, because you're going to start going against what they're saying or what they're telling you, and doing and going and following your own paths, but you're going to be actually going and following these newer people, right? Because you're going to get around these other families or other people and friends and other situations where you're going to be like, hold up, wait a minute. Your parent don't talk to you like that, or this don't happen over here, or whatever. Now you getting loved, and and people are looking at you like you're a victim, and you're this and you're that, and you don't even realize that. Now, this is where that comes in, and then you're gonna and then you start dating, right? And then a lot of times you don't even realize that the person that you wind up dating sometimes are gonna do those same things, and because you're so accustomed to it, and you've been, like, it's like nailed in your brain. It's like you actually know the signs, but you still fall victim to it at some point, because so many people are like so good at the mask that they put on, or that pretending that they're not. And then sometimes they actually never pretended. It's just you didn't pick up on the signs right away because that's something, because you've been accustomed to it. It's like you become numb to the point where you know but you don't know, or it's just, or it's something about them that either makes you feel safer with them, or that you don't necessarily want to leave because it's something that they are either providing for you or giving you some level of comfort, even if it's not, even if it's like a little speck, right? And so that is really a cycle that continues until you start trying to learn what is going on and how do you break that. And a lot of times, if we don't actually make the steps, or actually, be like, yo, I need help, or something will happen, like something bad, you might wind up going to jail, anything, right? Will happen, and then you are either separated from this person or from these family members or these friends, whatever. Then you start realizing, or let's say you get a job, right, that none of these people are at, right? You get a job, now you're around a whole new set of people, right? Different backgrounds, different whatever, right? And you start to realize you're happy. You're not, you know what I'm saying, you're not you don't feel any of the things that you felt around any of these other people. Or you could just hang around one other friend, right? Or just meet a new friend or a new person, anything that shows you something different than what you were used to or accustomed to, take you out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you're gonna either like the comfort, like that, because you're gonna love it, but it might get uncomfortable. So out of fear, you're gonna run back to the people that was actually hurting you, and then you're gonna be like still stuck in this because you're scared. But then when you break away from that, or you start maybe distancing yourself a little bit more, you're gonna, at some point, the fear is gonna wash away, and you're just gonna either leave the group altogether and start off somewhere else. You may start getting new friends or new whatever going on, and you won't even want nothing to do with that because you're gonna be like, oh no, hold up, that was what I was, no, that's crazy. Abuse has so many, oh yeah, abuse has so many levels and layers. You were going to find out where it started. To start from the foundation up, we gotta start at the bottom to get to the top. And that is why we start with your child, with the childhood, and then you work your way up, because that's where a lot of that starts from sometimes. Honestly, when you're making progress and you're releasing properly and finding healthy ways to release those emotions, they are indeed signs that you are on track. Unfortunately, they will be constant until you heal completely, and you will no longer feel angry, sad, guilty, or hurt. They will just be a memory and an experience that you can be proud you moved and grew up and grew up from. Are you really ready for this change? It's important to always go back to your own reason and goal for change when times get hard to process. The effort and hard work, as well as dedication you put into this journey, is going to determine your outcome of the change and goal that you're looking for. Changing your life, changing your life or anything about yourself It's not going to be easy or quick, especially if especially if you've really experienced a lot of trauma in your life and never actually, maybe, even if you didn't get, maybe on your own and just be like, no, I want to do things different on your own. And even if you just, I do need some therapy or some counseling, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But when you didn't do no work, and now, it's going to be really, really hard, because like I said, you're going to bring up so many emotions, and things are going to come out that you never expected to come out. So this isn't going to help you like really quick. Changing your life is hard and never gets easy. It is an endless journey. Endless, because once you heal one thing or two things, something else is going to come up. Hold on. All right. The purpose is to help you find a sense of purpose. Develop your creativity, manage your stress, anxiety, depression, and overcome bad habits, patterns, and behaviors that are holding you back from reaching your goals and your true potential. Past trauma. Wait. Actually, hold on. Yeah. Past trauma. The truth is, any type or level of trauma is going to always be a hard obstacle to heal and overcome. Healing past traumas can and will take years to fully heal. Hold on, y'all, because my phone is like on 2%. So I'm going to try to get this done real fast. Dang, I had so many more cards to go through. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to just give y'all part two. Past trauma. Majority of the world has experienced a form of trauma that has affected how they see things, as well as how they react to experiences they have suffered from. This is going to be hard, draining, and you're going to spend the majority of the time healing and releasing, reflecting, crying, angry, guilt, every emotion that there is. A lot of the exercises in this part is going to require us sharing and releasing, digging and digging very deep. Emotions. A part of making changes are, of course, getting to a mindset of controlling or not reacting off of emotions. We are going to learn that it is okay to express yourself. Feel your emotions. We are going to help you release them in a healthy way. Anxiety. There are so many levels of anxiety: OCD, ADHD, ADD, and more. While some of them you can function normally and aren't as bad, for some people they are. You have to be prepared for the bad days. During change, there is no such thing as no bad days. We're going to dig deep, and there's going to be things you don't want to talk about, but you had to in order to release and heal and forgive and move on, so you can elevate and proceed with the further process and actually see real results. When you're going through a change, it's very important that you fully understand that making changes will come with a lot of emotional ups and downs. This happens mainly after doing the anxiety episode, the triggers episode, the abuse episode, and completing a deep rooted session or assignment that involves a lot of releasing and reflecting on various experiences and realizations, as well as discoveries about yourself and your family and their actions that may have even contributed or caused a lot of these traumatic experiences. The truth is, this is going to always be the hard part of going through a major change. Your emotions will be all over the place at times, which will even make you want to stop and give up on this journey. Boundaries. Hold on, let me see. Alright, y'all. I'm going to stop it right here and I'm going to post a second video. Let me let my phone charge. Thanks for watching.